Ladies and gents, welcome to CG Reaction. This is Genghis Khan, Khan of all Mongols. Extra History Part 4 by the channel Extra Credits. Yeah, now he's gonna become Genghis Khan, I guess, Khan of all Mongols. So yeah, obviously so far we've seen how Genghis Khan became this leader. Obviously, Ong Khan's help was pretty important. Otherwise, he wouldn't have become a leader because he didn't have claim to anything. So I guess his father's friendship to Ong Khan really helped that, and then his ambition took place, and it just his politics is awesome too. He's shown that his rival Jamukha, how he's favoring nobles and just is more vicious. Genghis Khan showed that nobility and titles like this don't matter. It's just people's character and how he can be I guess more of a lenient leader. Integrating the entire tribes into his tribe. I guess just killing off the leaders, not killing, viciously killing the prisoners and everything like that. So in that sense, he showed the people like how he favors the common people and how he's merciful, where Jamukha is not. So I guess in this one, he's going to defeat Jamukha for finally become Khan of all Mongols apparently. So yeah, because Ong Khan is pretty big deal, right? He's already some big leader. So I guess obviously he's gonna have support for Genghis Khan. So I guess every territory that Ong Khan had, Genghis Khan just gonna take it, I guess, because they are friends or something. I don't know. Yeah, it's gonna be fun. Remember, people, if you like my reaction, don't forget to like, subscribe, check out the reaction. There's a link in the description. Check out the cast world. Please check out the end cards, and yeah, that's what this one.
02. The dawn of a new century. Temujin Khan now rivals Jamukha in power. The future of the Mongols could fall to either of them. And Temujin, already a radical, is about to institute yet another set of revolutionary changes to a society that has hardly changed at all in 1,000 years.
Well, he has already started to change, right? I mean, in the past, Mongols have been doing one thing. I mean, raid a place, kill off anybody, but then leave off the families fine. And I guess send them to fend for themselves whether they die or not. Usually what happens is who is left is I guess regroups, becomes stronger and come back to attack them again, and it's a vicious cycle. So Genghis Khan saw that this cannot just go on, so he clearly integrated the tribes into his own tribe, killed off leaders by I guess standing trial or something. So he already changed how the all the Mongols did things in the past. So I guess he's gonna change more things.
1 year after the defeat of the Taichit, an aging Ong Khan sent Temujin on a new campaign to once again plunder the Tartars. Having now grown as a leader and a warrior, Temujin introduced new changes and tactics which would forever alter the way battle was done on the steppe. See, traditional Mongol raids had warriors rushing into camps while their victims either fled or stayed to defend their possessions. The fighting would then devolve into chaos, as the raiders raced to loot and pillage, trying to grab the best prizes for themselves, rather than chasing down enemy warriors. Temujin realized that these acts of personal greed got in the way of a more complete victory, and left his troops vulnerable to counterattack.
I mean, yeah, it would, right? I mean, people would just, probably if somebody said we're going to attack certain tribes, smart people of that attacking tribe would basically scout out the place first and see where the real riches are, and just attack that first for themselves so they can just take the riches and do not care about defeating enemies. In that way, more people can run away, and that vicious cycle returns, that they regroup and attack again. So in this sense, Genghis Khan's like, you know what, I first defeat the enemy and then loot. That makes more, I guess, compartmentalize.
Back from resentful enemies. This raid would be different. He declared that no looting would take place until total victory had been accomplished. Looting would then be done in an organized fashion, with all goods being brought to Temujin and then redistributed among his followers, using much the same system that mountain hunters used to distribute kills at the end of a group hunt. Temujin also ordered that a share of the wealth be allocated to anybody widowed or orphaned as a result of the raid. This ensured that what had happened to his mother when his father was killed would never again happen to another.
Yeah, so him fleeing to the mountains at that time, where he survived. At that time, he had to, hunt in those type of situation, and obviously he developed this discipline, like distributed in the end. So he implemented that here, and also this obviously from his childhood, how they suffered where the just tribe just left them alone because their alpha male died, so that the family can just tend for themselves. Obviously, he's going to change that. This is a good change at least.
Their Mongol family. These changes guaranteed him the support of the poorest people in the tribe, and inspired loyalty among his soldiers, who now knew that their families would be cared for if they fell in battle. But these changes alienated some of his more well-off followers, as it denied them their traditional right to distribute prizes to their underlings as they saw fit. Still, it was a trade worth the making, as this move greatly centralized the power of his rule and incentivized loyalty. In enriching Temujin, his followers were also enriching themselves. This new system was a resounding success. For the second time, Temujin defeated the Tartars, and by postponing the looting until the end of the campaign, the army amassed more wealth than ever before. There was, however, a new problem. In keeping with their usual policy of executing leaders and integrating everybody else, they had now captured almost an entire army and all of the civilians. The old method had worked great when they were dealing with a clan of hundreds, but the Tartars numbered in the thousands. It was imperative to Temujin to end the vicious, constant conflicts between steppe lineages, and it seemed to him that integrating everyone under one unified banner was the only way to achieve this. But in order to bring the numerous Tartars into his Khanate, he would need the full support of his followers. He summoned a Kurultai to discuss a solution, and the one they found was vicious but effective. They summoned all of the Tartar men and ordered each one to walk by a cart. Every male taller than the linchpin, which held the wheels on the cart, was executed. Once the older and larger Tartar males were culled, the remaining men and their families were taken in as...
Men? You mean kids? What the fuck? So in the end, they did kill a lot of people out of those thousands. I mean, obviously lots of them would have been adult males, and they all died probably. Damn, the more vicious side of Genghis Khan just came out. The more well-known side of him, where he just kills off entire towns and cities for some small thing here and there. Yeah, there's an instance somebody said in the comment, like, you know, something happened to, you know, I don't know, his daughter or his daughter's husband or something, and he just killed off the entire town or something. I guess in here, for him, it's more tactical, but it's still very inhumane side. And you know, obviously he did that as a tactic, but isn't he afraid like this will be shown as how Jamukha behaved just you know, a video or two ago, where he killed off and boiled people alive? So this is more vicious side, so people will be more afraid of him now and run away or something. Damn.
As full members of his tribe, Temujin adopted another Tartar orphan and took 2 aristocratic Tartar women as additional wives. That handled, Temujin had yet more ancient traditions to abolish. If he really wanted to establish lasting peace among the steppe tribes, he would have to radically transform their military and tribal system. He would have to do away with the traditional system of kin groups altogether. He organized his warriors into squads of 10, who were then ordered to live and fight together. These groups were of mixed origin and lineage. By forcing people to serve as units rather than kin groups, Temujin managed to break their ancient lineages and ethnic identities. Each squad began with the oldest as their leader, but they could elect any man among them if they chose. 10 of these squads formed a company of 100 men, one of whom they elected to be their leader, and 10 of those companies formed a battalion of 1,000 individuals. The leader of each...
Wait a minute, isn't this like core system that Napoleon had? But this is before Napoleon. Damn. Alright. I mean, he just transferred his, transformed his entire tribal society into militarized society. This brings in unity in a way, right? I mean, before everybody was for themselves in a way. When tribal warfare happened, there were noblemen, there were poor people. And all this creates some kind of a divide in the end. There is no real loyalty to anyone. And especially when the raids happen, people just take stuff, whatever they want during the raids, rather than afterwards. It just felt more chaotic. Now it feels like more militarized state, proper army, proper government type system, where anytime there's a loot, you bring everything to Genghis Khan basically, and then it gets redistributed, and everybody stays in some kind of a unit rather than who's the nobility and who's richer or whatever bullshit like that. So now it's more of a militarized state.
Each battalion was chosen by Temujin, further cementing his power. And under the new system, all members of the tribe, regardless of age or gender, had to perform public service for the benefit of the tribe, including caring for herds, gathering fuel, cooking, repairing weapons, or even performing music to entertain the troops. And just like that, there were no more lineages or classes. Everyone worked for the benefit of the tribe, and everyone reaped the rewards. Finally, Temujin created a closed territory designated as the homeland of the Mongols. For its location, he chose the sacred site where he had hidden from the Merkit raiders in his youth, and he closed it to all outsiders except the Mongol royal family, who would continue to bury their dead and conduct ritual gatherings there for the next 2 centuries. This land became the secret ritual center of the new Mongol identity. After almost 20 years of work, Temujin now controlled most of the Mongols, but Jamaica was still a large and looming threat. Ong Khan was getting older, but it was not yet clear who would take over for him. So Temujin decided to force Ong Khan's hand, and proposed that his eldest son, Jochi, marry one of Ong Khan's daughters. This would be an acknowledgement of Temujin as his heir. Ong Khan's eldest son, who had no following of his own, was envious of Temujin's power and relationship with his father, and strongly encouraged Ong Khan to reject the proposal, despite the fact that doing so would be a grave insult. Ong Khan was swayed, and he rejected Temujin out.
Okay, Temujin has a lot of Mongols by under him already. He already has the largest army and power, right? Because he has lots of majority of the Mongols under him. So by now, Temujin is a real powerful threat. Bigger threat than anybody else, I guess. So it's surprising to see that Ong Khan, especially knowing how their friendship has been in the past, rejecting like this. I would have thought they would explain things to his kid, basically, like if we reject it, we'll die, because he's way too powerful now. And this way we could at least be ally or something. But yeah, I guess it's gonna end really badly.
Right. Fearing a military response, though, Ong Khan quickly devised a nefarious plot to rid himself of Temujin through trickery. He sent Temujin a message saying that he had changed his mind, setting a wedding date and inviting Temujin to come alone to celebrate with the family. So Temujin set out with a small band to see his patron, confident that he was about to secure his position to succeed Ong Khan as future ruler of the Central Steppes. Then, just 1 day's ride from Ong Khan's court, one of Temujin's allies rode up with terrible news. Ong Khan had an army nearby, preparing to wipe him out. Temujin was trapped, wildly outnumbered, separated from his allies with the enemy at his heels. He could not afford to fight. He did the only thing he could do. He ordered his small group to scatter in all directions and fled. Temujin was devastated. This was supposed to be his moment of triumph. When he reunited with his followers far from Ong Khan's territory, he found that only a few remained. Some of his relatives had deserted in a panic. Others had simply gotten lost on the steppe. Now what?
Were they deserted or were they chased down and hunted by Ong Khan? Because Ong Khan's not stupid. He's an old, experienced leader. He has been Khan for a long time. You can't just be that if you don't know how to do something, how to fight or something. So, were they chased and killed or something? Because clearly Temujin knows this. That's why he ordered all his followers to scatter. That they are not grouped in just one place where Ong Khan can just chase them down and kill them. If they're scattered, there's more chance of survival. So were they deserted? I mean, obviously some of them would have got lost, but some of them also would have been chased down and killed, I guess, because Ong Khan would have realized that Temujin by now knows this, because he didn't come. So I guess he would have ordered his army to, I guess, chase.
Few remained faced starvation in their remote exile, and his newly united people were now without their leader. Temujin resolved to act quickly while Ong Khan basked in the glory of his victory. He sent messengers to his tens of thousands of followers, hoping that they would follow his order to assemble. And amazingly, they did.
Of course
Imagine
they did.
tens of thousands of people, separated from their leader but still converging, maintaining order and discipline.
I mean, yeah, the way he created the unit system, the entire core type system, where he created units and whole this army type mentality with their leaders as, I guess, marshals, if you will. I don't know. So he created all this militarized state, the way he treated his people, equally everyone. So obviously nobody is going to abandon him, because if not him, then it's the old ways again with any other leader. all the nobility and bullshit like that, where they decide who gets what loot rather than being distributed, based on what people did on the battlefield or whatever equally. So obviously they are not going to abandon Genghis Khan. They really have his, everybody really is loyal to him by now. So this type of system really sealed the deal for him, that everybody under him is gonna be loyal to him for a long time. Obviously his political mind also helps. Yeah, I still don't know what his battle tactics are, because I don't know, now it's numbers obviously, but before, when he was fighting, where he was easily killing off people, there was some kind of a special tactics that he used that gave him an edge, or was it just numbers game?
This was the effect of Temujin's new discipline, his new societal structure. This army thundered toward the unsuspecting Ong Khan, who feasted and celebrated in his palatial golden yurt. Loyal followers had gone so far as to leave fresh horses for Temujin's army along the way, so they could continue night and day without resting. In the middle of the night, and without warning, Temujin's army completely surrounded the enemy camp and crashed down on Ong Khan's court, days before he thought they'd arrive. Nobles fled in all directions, including Ong Khan and Jamukha, who managed to escape the fighting and flee to the nearby Naiman tribe, the greatest of the tribes not yet conquered by Temujin. Jamukha made it safely across the Naiman border, but Ong Khan was stopped by a guard who couldn't believe that this haggard old man was the great Khan he claimed to be, and killed him. Temujin now turned his sights to the...
What? I think there is more to that. I think he knew that it's still Ong Khan, but there was some kind of bitterness from the past. He did something to him or his family, and it killed him. Because if somebody says, I'm Ong Khan, the famous Ong Khan, so, he would be at least like, okay, I'll take you to my tribe and I'll see about you there, because it's just one person, one old guy. He just kills him when he says it's, Ong Khan. I think, he just killed him and then pretend, I didn't know. That's what happened there. Damn.
The Naiman, Jamukha's new ally. Now, at last, the decisive battle against Jamukha had finally come. For the first...
What battle? Temujin has thousands of people under him. He has the most Mongols under him. I mean, he clearly outnumbers everyone, right? So is there much of a battle now? Why is Jamukha still trying to, act like he's some badass or something? If, I would have thought by now, he would have attempt to, I guess, sign some kind of peace treaty or something. Because Genghis Khan clearly has lots of number under him.
Time, Temujin's new military organization would be put to the test in an all-out battle. Squads of 10 advanced silently in the pre-dawn darkness, so the enemy couldn't see how many people were attacking or
this
from
is
which
core
direction.
System, isn't it?
The squads would then attack and then immediately flee in different directions, making retaliation impossible. After hours of these harrying hit-and-run attacks, Temujin advanced with a long line of troops who fired their arrows and then melted back behind the next line, their replacements. The Naiman attempted to counter this by spreading...
Oh, wait a minute. Whenever people think of this, nomadic tribes attacking like this is how they show it. Whether it's some kind of a fictional game or whatever. I guess Genghis Khan started that, huh? Damn.
...out a long, thin line to meet the attacking archers and avoid being flanked. In response, Temujin switched tactics yet again, rearranging his men into a narrow, deep configuration which allowed them to chisel through the thinned Naiman lines. Victory was swift and complete.
That's his tactics.
Jamukha fled again and, in a poetic twist of fate, ended up hiding in the woods just as Temujin once had as a boy, himself now a disgraced, outcast bandit at the age of 40. In time, his followers found and delivered him to Temujin. Jamukha asked only for an honorable death, which Temujin granted. It was finally over. Temujin had won. At long last, he was to become the Khan of all Mongols.
Damn. That is something, right? But how did Jamukha constantly ran away? That is something. If you're hunting one person, how does he get away every time? I'm thinking every time some kind of battle starts and he sees how he's outnumbered, I guess he runs away before anything even happens. That's the only way I can think of how he runs away. Otherwise, obviously, Genghis Khan has been hunting him for a long time. He would instruct his people, like, if you see this guy, grab him first. I mean, yeah, I saw his battle tactics here. He was smart on the field, huh? So finally, I saw some tactics. So it's not just the numbers like where he just used brute force. No, he also had the military mind, like how to act on the field. Alright, people, that was Genghis Khan, Khan of all Khans. If you like my reaction, don't forget to like, subscribe, check out the Rick Sunday. There's a link in the description. Check out the cards for the place, check out the end cards, and I'll see you next time.